I became my ex's daughter. The best revenge on a scumbag ex is to travel back in time and become his daughter. I cried, screamed, and mocked him to his face, and he could only force a smile and coax me. I maxed out his credit card and punched him, but he only asked if I was tired or if my hand hurt. I have to say, it feels absolutely amazing. I traveled back in time. I didn't end up in ancient times as a princess or as a wealthy young lady, but as a little child. I looked at my chubby little hands, stumbled over to the mirror, and saw a face as round as a dumpling. I sighed and smiled at the mirror, and the child in the reflection grinned back. "Really ugly," I said. "My name is Ningning. I died in a car accident at the age of 18. In the prime of my youth. A minute before the accident, Du Hang was breaking up with me. Ning, let's break up. I'm tired." Du Hang's words still echoed in my ears, and I felt suffocated. In the past, I would have held it in after all. I was the most famous big sister at school, and crying would make people laugh at me. But now I'm a child with no image to uphold. So I burst into tears. My crying attracted a man. "Ningning, what's wrong?" The man skillfully picked me up and wiped away my tears. When I saw his face, I was stunned. Du Hang, it's that bastard. Even if he looks 10 years older, I'd recognize him even if he turned to ashes. "Du Hang!" I screamed and chomped down hard on his hand. I bit with all my might, hoping to make Du Hang cry in pain. Du Hang looked utterly shocked, but then suddenly hugged me tightly. "Ningning, you can speak. What the heck, isn't he mad? This isn't how I imagined it." Du Hang took me to the hospital. From his conversation with the driver, I learned that my name is Ningning. I'm 5 years old, and I'm Du Hang's daughter. Oh, and Du Hang is 28 now, already a CEO. His life has been smooth sailing, except for his daughter. Ningning still can't speak, and has been diagnosed with autism by doctors. If you ask me, he deserves it. What a shame heaven has no eyes. Why isn't he the mute one? I glared at Du Hang with pure hatred, but he didn't seem to notice at all. He patted my head and said gently, "Ningning, the doctor has just given you a checkup. Don't be scared. Be good, and Daddy will take you to eat something delicious." I'm not scared at all. I rolled my eyes and ignored him. At the hospital, the doctor examined me. He put on a smile meant to coax children and said, "Ningning, your dad says you can speak now. Can you say something to me? I'd love to hear your voice." "Theft, you want me to speak? So I should. That would be too humiliating." Thinking this, I pretended not to hear and focused on staring at my fingers. Dr. Ningning really spoke. She even bit me. Du Hang said anxiously. "Mr. Du, I've tried for a long time now. But Ningning, really, could this be your imagination?" The doctor asked politely. Ningning did speak. Du Hang's expression darkened as he muttered a rebuttal, then carried me away. To be honest, he looked pretty pitiful. But I won't give in. Absolutely not. I never expected Du Hang to take me to a mall and into Pizza Hut. Wow, I love Pizza Hut the most. I grabbed the menu and pointed at the pizza to signal Du Hang to order it, but the jerk refused. Du Hang said, "Ningning, tell me what you want to eat." "Pizza pizza." Du Hang slowly enunciated, looking utterly ridiculous with his exaggerated expression. Under his expectant gaze, I opened my mouth and then spat. "Ningning!" Du Hang was shocked. He looked really angry, and I was afraid he'd spank me. But then Du Hang's eyes turned sad. "Ningning, Daddy was wrong. Daddy won't force you. Whatever you want to eat, Daddy will order it for you." I wasn't going to save Du Hang any money. I pointed at everything I wanted to eat, but unfortunately, a child's stomach is small, and I couldn't finish much. I knew Du Hang's biggest pet peeve is wasting food. Back in high school, the cafeteria food was so terrible that I never wanted to eat there, but he always finished everything and wouldn't let me eat instant noodles. Now, I'm going to waste food. So what? I looked at Du Hang challengingly, ready to cry if he scolded me. But Du Hang just said, "Are you full, Ningning? If you are, we'll take the rest home." What? He's not going to scold me, just because I'm his daughter. Du Hang, you're such a hypocrite. When we returned home, I was in a terrible mood. Thinking about how I died so young while Du Hang is living so well made me even more furious. And he even has a daughter. How could he have gotten married and had a child? I thought about biting Du Hang again, but this time he dodged. He grabbed my face and gently pinched it, as if squeezing a dumpling. Du Hang sighed helplessly. Ningning, why have you started biting people? Did you learn that from cartoons? No more cartoons from now on. God, you shamelessly had a child, and now you won't even let me watch cartoons. I was so angry I could die. I tried to bite him again, but Du Hang dodged skillfully. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't bite him, and I was left panting from exhaustion. Du Hang looked at me with a grin, as if I wasn't trying to bite him but playing a game with him. If I can't bully him, I'll bully his daughter. With that thought, I bit myself hard. I didn't gauge my strength properly, and cried out in pain. Du Hang quickly grabbed my hand. He looked both annoyed and amused. You little rascal, why are you biting yourself? Du Hang gently rubbed my arm, occasionally blowing on it. His tender gesture made me drift into memories. I remembered that Du Hang and I once had incredibly sweet times too. In high school, Du Hang was the school heartthrob, top grades, great at sports, handsome, the kind that's just hateful. Wherever Du Hang went, girls would flock to him, but he'd always shoo them away impatiently. I've always liked tough, strong men who can fight. Du Hang, with his pretty boy looks, didn't fit my type. So even though we were in the same class, we never spoke. But during the sports meet, when a girl tripped and fell in front of him, Du Hang helped her up and smiled gently. That's when I fell for him. Oh my God, how can there be such a handsome man in this world? I decided, I'm going to pursue him. Many girls in high school wrote love letters to Du Hang. I knew it'd be hard to stand out, so I went all out. I let the air out of Du Hang's bike tires. When Du Hang angrily asked who did it, I shyly admitted it was me, and said that to make up for it, I could offer myself to him. Back then, everyone watching said I was shameless. I thought Du Hang would mock me, but he actually agreed. How could he agree? Looking at Du Hang now, I realized that even though he's older, he's still just as handsome, which made me even more annoyed. Just then, Du Hang said, Ningning, it's time for your bath and bedtime. Fine, I'll sleep, I'm sleepy anyway. This child's body is so annoying. Thinking this, I yawned. I'll help you bathe, Du Hang said. Me? If Du Hang didn't look so natural, I'd suspect he was taking advantage of me. I frantically shook my head, but Du Hang said, You can't skip a bath, Ningning. You'll get dirty and smelly, and Daddy won't like you anymore. It's best if you don't like me. I wish I could stink like durian and suffocate you. Ningning, be good. Under Du Hang's persistence, I was forced to take a bath. Du Hang lifted me out of the bathtub and placed me on the bed. I noticed my little bed was right next to Du Hang's big bed. The sheets were pink, and the blanket was pink too, clearly carefully chosen. I have to admit, Du Hang is a good dad. I let Du Hang gently blow dry my hair and apply lotion. Du Hang looked at me expectantly and said, Call me Daddy. I suspect he's taking advantage of me, but I have no proof. I ignored him. Ningning, if you call me Daddy, I'll take you to KFC. Du Hang tried to tempt me. Theft. I'm not a child. I don't even like KFC. I rolled my eyes and played with the doll by the bed. Du Hang still wouldn't give up. Daddy, Daddy. Seeing how serious Du Hang was, I reluctantly replied, Yeah. Du Hang froze. He looked as if he were constipated. He stared at me in disbelief, then finally laughed. Ningning, did you do that on purpose? I lowered my head to avoid his gaze. I felt like I was about to burst out laughing. You little troublemaker. Now you're even tricking Daddy. Is it fun to trick Daddy? Du Hang started tickling me. I'm most afraid of being tickled, so I giggled uncontrollably. Du Hang laughed too and whispered, Ningning, your mom would be so happy when you can finally speak. Du Hang kissed my forehead and went to sleep, but my heart felt heavy. I deliberately avoided thinking about who Du Hang's wife might be. Actually, I had known all along that we would break up, because we were simply from two different worlds. Du Hang was a top student. I was a slacker. Du Hang was reserved. I was too lively. He rarely took the initiative to ask me out on dates, and intimate moments between us were almost non-existent. Every time I was with Du Hang, I would chatter away while he focused on reading his books. Sometimes I deliberately snatched the book from his hands, and he'd always sigh helplessly. Ningning, stop fooling around. Ningning. Hearing that name from his lips was a sound I never imagined could be so pleasing. Now, he still calls me Ningning. Is he reminiscing about me, his ex-girlfriend who died young? Or is all this just a coincidence? I wanted to think more about it, that this child's body couldn't keep up, and I drifted off into a heavy sleep. When I woke up the next day, I found Du Hang was already up. I walked out of the room and saw Du Hang cooking breakfast in the kitchen. I looked up at him with effort, sniffing the air. Ningning, you're awake. I made your favorite sunny-side-up eggs. Golden, shiny sunny-side-up eggs sat before me. I never knew Du Hang could cook and make food so delicious. Why didn't he cook for me before? Thinking this, I felt a bit annoyed. I took a big bite and burned my mouth. I gasped and Du Hang quickly handed me orange juice. Observing my expression, Du Hang tentatively said, Ningning, should we go to kindergarten? Ooh, why can't I escape studying even as a child? I felt despair. Or Daddy can stay home with you. I can work from home anyway, and we can spend the whole day together, Du Hang suggested. I immediately grabbed my coat. There's no way I'm spending the day with him. I'm going to kindergarten. At the kindergarten gate, Du Hang gave me a long list of reminders. He told me to raise my hand if I was hungry, to tell the teacher if I wet myself as if I were an idiot. I listened impatiently and ran into the kindergarten like a little bird. Just then, I heard the teacher say, Ningning, you haven't said goodbye to Daddy. I pretended not to hear. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Du Hang's retreating figure, looking a bit lonely. Serves him right, I thought. I realized that kindergartens nowadays are much nicer than they used to be. There were lots of toys, and the teachers even performed little shows for us. When the teacher asked us to sing together, I sat cross-legged and listened, amused by the children's off-key songs. The teacher glanced at me, as if wanting to say something, but held back. During exercise time, the teacher led the exercises at the front while I hid in the shade to avoid the sun. The teacher finally couldn't take it anymore and said to me, Ningning, why don't you play with the other children? I'm here for fun, not to be the fun. So dumb you don't even get that, I thought disdainfully. Ningning, when will you talk to the teacher? If you speak, the teacher will give you candy. The teacher was trying so hard to coax me. I think she should really check her IQ. I maintained a vacant expression until the teacher finally gave up. After she left, I sat by the slide, spacing out and thinking about how to torment Du Hang after going home. Just then, a little chubby boy approached me and said loudly, Ningning, your dad is still over there. Shame, a little mute still needs her daddy to hold her. I looked in the direction the little boy pointed but saw nothing, only a fleeting shadow. If I were a real child, I might have been fooled. But I'm not a child. Pretending to play, I suddenly looked up again quickly and actually caught sight of Du Hang's figure. I ran toward Du Hang. He looked embarrassed. Ningning, you caught me. Daddy just wanted to see you playing with the other kids. Go play. If anyone bullies you, tell Daddy. Watching Du Hang ready to stand up for me, I couldn't help but laugh in anger. Du Hang, weren't you always the most principled? Back when I asked to peek at your exam answers, you refused. But now you'd do anything for your daughter. How can you be such a hypocrite? I felt like my chest was about to explode, filled with both anger and resentment. Just then, the chubby boy taunted again. Little mute. I swung my arm with all my might and punched him right in the nose. Du Hang froze. So, Du Hang, you had just told me, if anyone bullies you, tell Daddy, ended up watching me bully someone else, and had to endure a scolding in the teacher's office. The chubby boy's parents arrived quickly. They were a large couple who tenderly held their son's face, saying, Poor baby suffered so much, as if I'd broken his bones. When they saw me, their expressions turned disdainful. They demanded I apologize, but I ignored them, so Du Hang apologized on my behalf. I'm sorry, Ningning shouldn't have hit anyone. I'll educate her properly. What's the use of educating her? She doesn't even understand human speech. A child like this should go to a special school, not our kindergarten. Faced with the chubby boy's parents' accusations, the teacher couldn't stand it anymore and tried to mediate. It's normal for children to roughhouse a bit. This is how they learn social rules. Let's let the children resolve this themselves. She's a mute. How is she supposed to resolve anything with my son? The chubby boy's mother snapped sharply. My daughter is not a mute, Du-hang said quietly. I saw his fists clenched tightly, veins bulging. Everyone knows she's a mute. Don't fool yourself. She's not just a mute, she's violent. Someone like her shouldn't stay in this kindergarten. The chubby boy's parents were aggressive. I'd never seen Du-hang look so wronged. His face was pale, his eyes reddening, and his breathing grew heavier. Ningning is not a mute, Du-hang insisted. Then make her speak. If she says one word, I'll apologize. How about that? Du-hang opened his mouth but said nothing. I couldn't stand it any longer. I hate Du-hang, but I hate arrogant people even more. Under everyone's gaze, I walked up to the chubby boy, pointed at his nose, and said, He called me a mute, so I hit him. If he does it again, I'll hit him again. What? The chubby boy was startled and started crying. Du-hang looked at me incredulously. Ningning, you spoke? I'm not a mute, I said. Ningning. Du-hang hugged me tightly. His embrace was so tight I could barely breathe. He planted a firm kiss on my cheek and said sternly, Your son insulted my daughter first. I think we need to have a proper discussion. The chubby boy and I were ushered out of the office, leaving the parents to talk. Curious, I pressed my ear against the door, trying to hear what they were saying, but I couldn't make anything out. The chubby boy nervously said, They'll catch us. So cowardly, I said disdainfully. Ningning, you can talk. Then why didn't you speak before? I'm a fairy. I don't talk to mere mortals. I put on a mysterious expression. The chubby boy thought for a moment and said, You're lying. Fairies don't fight people. I really am a fairy. Test me if you don't believe me. Why do we see lightning before we hear thunder when it rains? Because light travels faster than sound, I answered instantly. The chubby boy's face was filled with shock and admiration. That question is really hard. I studied for a long time to understand it. Wow, you really are a fairy. Of course I am. By the time Du-hang picked me up, the chubby boy and I had become friends, playing with building blocks together. The chubby boy really liked me, and didn't want to leave. He waved reluctantly and said goodbye, while his parents' faces twisted in anger. Du-hang took me to the car and praised me. Ningning, you're amazing. You became friends with Zhang Zihan so quickly. So the chubby boy's name is Zhang Zihan. I filed that name away and ignored Du-hang. Ningning, your teacher said you're very smart. I signed you up for a tutoring class. I don't want tutoring. I instinctively opposed Du-hang, speaking again. Du-hang laughed. I realized I'd fallen for his trick and quickly covered my mouth, but it was too late. Du-hang smiled and said, Ningning, now that you can speak, your mom will be so happy when she finds out. Who is my mom? I asked nervously. When you're a bit older, I'll take you to see her, Du-hang said softly. His voice was slightly hoarse. My ability to speak made Du-hang very happy. He took me to an amusement park, went on a big shopping trip at the supermarket, and even bought my favorite strawberry ice cream. While eating the ice cream, I asked again about my mum. Du-hang looked a bit sad. Ningning, don't ask anymore. I promise. When you're older, I'll definitely take you to find Mom. God, who exactly is my mom? Why is he being so secretive? If he won't tell me, I'll find out myself. Thinking this, I made up my mind. Back home, I asked for another ice cream, but Du-hang refused. Ningning, eating too much ice cream will give you a stomachache. But I want it. Be good and go to sleep. How about I make you tomato fish tomorrow? Okay, I said, unable to resist. Du-hang thought he'd persuaded me. He turned off the light and went to sleep, soon breathing evenly. He didn't know this was exactly what I was waiting for. In the darkness, I opened my eyes, tiptoed to the study, and began searching for anything related to Mum. I searched carefully but found nothing. Strange. Doesn't Du-hang have wedding photos? No love letters either. Could it be they're divorced? So he hid everything related to her. How pitiful for me. Thinking this, I felt a bit sad. I went to the kitchen and ate strawberry ice cream. The sweet treat instantly healed all my sorrows. But just as I was about to go back to bed, my stomach suddenly started hurting. It hurt so much. I didn't dare tell Du Hang about sneaking ice cream. I wanted to get a glass of hot water to ease the pain, but I couldn't reach it. When another wave of pain hit, I slowly bent over, thinking curling up might help, but it didn't. The pain came in waves like tides. I was in so much pain my consciousness started to blur. Cold sweat dripped down my body. I didn't even notice when Du Hang came to the kitchen. "Ningning, what's wrong?" Du Hang asked. My stomach hurts," I whispered. I felt so embarrassed. Without another word, Du Hang carried me to bed. He prepared a hot water bottle, gave me warm milk, and rubbed my stomach. Du Hang was so gentle and careful. Under his care, my stomach felt much better. Du Hang said helplessly, "Did you sneak something to eat?" "I had ice cream," I whispered. Du Hang became serious. "Ningning, Daddy said you can only have one ice cream a day. Cold food isn't good for girls." I snorted and ignored Du Hang. The scene felt so familiar. Suddenly, I remembered that Du Hang used to nag me like this too. Back then, I hated the heat and ate an ice cream every day. Every time I had one, Du Hang would frown at me. He was like a mother hen, constantly saying things like, "Cold food isn't good for girls." I never listened. Who would have thought I'd suffer the consequences so soon? Once, during my period, I craved something cold and ate an ice cream. Soon after, I had terrible stomach cramps and couldn't continue during a P-class run. I was too embarrassed and kept trying to act normal, but Du Hang noticed something was wrong. Ignoring my protests, he carried me to the infirmary. Having the whole class see me in such a state made me cry in humiliation. Thinking I was in pain, Du Hang quickly said, "Ningning, don't be scared. If it hurts, bite me." Du Hang rubbed my stomach with one hand and placed the other near my mouth. But how could I bear to bite him? Back then, I thought Du Hang was the best person in the world. But that's all in the past now. Du Hang, who was so good to me, left me. Thinking this, I suddenly grabbed Du Hang's hand and bit down hard. I used all my strength, venting my pent-up resentment, but Du Hang only hissed in pain. Du Hang pinched my cheek. "Ningning, you can't bite people randomly, especially not other children." "I don't want to go to kindergarten," I said rebelliously. "No. Why not?" "Because you're a child." "I'm not a child." "Then who are you?" "Right. Who am I? Am I Tang Ning or am I Ningning? I don't know." I burst into tears. "I just don't want to go to kindergarten." I cried until I fell asleep. What made me happy was that a child's body recovers exceptionally quickly, and I was soon full of energy again. What frustrated me was that the next day, I was still sent to kindergarten. The teacher was telling boring jokes, but my mind was elsewhere. I needed to run away. Dying young was certainly tragic, but heaven had given me a chance at rebirth, and I couldn't give up. I'm 5 years old now, with a bright future ahead. I could become a child prodigy, rewrite my life, and date many handsome guys provided I could escape Du Hang's grasp. But how to escape? While I was lost in thought, the kindergarten kids kept trying to talk to me. I found them more annoying than frogs in a pond. Finally, it was time to go home. When I saw Du Hang, I realized he wasn't as annoying as before. Du Hang wanted to take me home, but the teacher said, "Mr. Du, could you come with me for a moment?" When Du Hang came out of the teacher's office, I thought his expression looked strange. I asked suspiciously, "Did the teacher say something bad about me?" "No. She said you seem exceptionally smart, almost like an adult." "Of course I'm an adult." I looked at Du Hang proudly, then suddenly had an idea. If Du Hang knew my intelligence and emotional maturity were that of an adult, maybe I wouldn't have to go to kindergarten, and I could even use a phone. I looked at Du Hang seriously. "Actually, I'm 18 years old." "Huh? I mean, my intelligence is at an 18-year-old level. I'm a child prodigy. I don't need to go to kindergarten at all. I should go straight to university." Du Hang sighed helplessly. "Ningning, have you been watching strange TV shows lately? If you don't believe me, let's test my IQ." After my insistence, Du Hang agreed. He took me to the hospital, where the doctor asked many questions and gave me a set of tests. I completed the tests quickly and well. I waited confidently for the doctor to exclaim, "This child is so smart." But the doctor adjusted his glasses and said, Your child is perfectly normal. Thank you, doctor, Du-hang said, relieved. I said unhappily, Doctor, just normal? I'm not a genius? My IQ should be 200, or at least 150. Did you examine me properly? Ningning. Du-hang stopped me angrily. The doctor wasn't upset and said kindly, Little one, all your results are normal, fitting the standards for a 5-year-old child. 5 years old? Not a child prodigy with an 18-year-old's intelligence, but just 5 years old. A bolt from the blue. I was too shocked to speak. Then Du-hang said, Doctor, Ningning has been acting strange lately. She really likes to oppose me, and sometimes acts very mature. That's the awakening of self-awareness. All children go through this phase. It's a good thing, it means she's growing up. That's great. Ningning is growing up. Du-hang patted my head with a look of relief and took me out of the hospital. I never expected my plan to fail so completely. My mind was in chaos. So, I wasn't a genius at all, not even average. My intelligence was that of a 5-year-old. I'd have to attend kindergarten for who knows how long, play with kids who wet their pants, and live under the same roof as my ex-boyfriend, calling him dad every day. No, I can't. To hell with escape plans, I'm running away now. My stomach hurts, I said, clutching my belly. Du-hang immediately looked worried. Did you eat something bad again? I shook my head. I need to poop. Du-hang couldn't go into the women's restroom, so he waited outside. While Du-hang was on a phone call with his back turned, I quietly slipped away. When I successfully avoided Du-hang and blended into the crowd, my heart pounded. I'm free. Finally away from Du-hang. I was so happy, but then someone grabbed my hand. Sweetie, Mommy's been looking for you everywhere. Let's go home. I looked up and saw a middle-aged woman wearing a red top, a green skirt, with dyed yellow hair. My mum? As if I'd believe that. I took a step back warily. I don't know you. Naughty child. The middle-aged woman grabbed me and spanked me hard twice on the bottom. I cried out in anger. She carried me toward the exit while I bit and struggled, shouting, She's not my mom. Many people looked over curiously, but no one intervened. I couldn't believe I was being kidnapped in broad daylight. Du-hang? Duh. I barely managed to cry out before the woman covered my mouth tightly. I couldn't break free, and my head grew dizzier. The woman took off her jacket and hid me under it. In the moment I was covered, I saw Du-hang pass by anxiously. Is Du-hang an idiot? Why couldn't he see me? I screamed, but the mall was too noisy and no one heard. The woman carried me faster and faster, nearing the exit. Seeing a perfume counter nearby, I had an idea. I kicked with all my might. Expensive perfume bottles tumbled to the ground, filling the air with a sweet scent. What's wrong with this child? You have to pay for damaging my perfume. Hey! I have no money. The woman holding me snapped, trying to rush out. Security! Where's security? The salesgirl argued with the woman, and in their struggle, I fell to the ground. The woman panicked and tried to pick me up, but I fell into a warm embrace. Ningning! Du-hang held me so tightly, as if trying to press me into his body. Before, I would have struggled to break free, but now I clung to him like a lifeline. I hugged Du-hang back tightly. Dad, this woman tried to kidnap me. This was the first time I called Du-hang Dad. The woman's face instantly changed. Don't lie, little girl. You said you were looking for your dad. So I was helping you, lying at such a young age. People around us looked confused, some whispering, others suggesting it was just a misunderstanding. I clutched Du-hang's sleeve, fighting back tears. I really wanted to punch that woman, but who would believe a child's words? Maybe just let it go. As I thought this, I saw Du-hang walk toward her. The woman said arrogantly, You pay for the perfume, and you owe me compensation for emotional distress. Is that so? Du-hang smiled slightly and punched her. Then, we all ended up at the police station. At the station, I stumbled through explaining how the woman tried to kidnap me. Worried the police might not believe me, I started crying again. Du-hang held my hand. Ningning, don't be scared. Take your time. Du-hang's palm was so warm, giving me strength. I explained everything, and the police officer's expressions grew serious. Even as the woman yelled, I'm innocent. The police didn't let her go. They sneered. We suspect you're connected to several recent child abduction cases. Please cooperate with the investigation. After leaving the station, I was still in a daze. Du Hang held me and said loudly, Ningning. That person is a repeat offender who kidnaps children. Thanks to you, we caught her. My Ningning is amazing. Du Hang's smile was so bright. I looked at his knuckles. He'd hurt his hand when he punched the woman. It was all my fault. I always caused trouble before. And I still do. Why am I so stupid? Thinking this, I felt sad. Du Hang noticed my gaze and hid his hand behind his back. I took his hand again and asked softly, Does it hurt? Daddy doesn't hurt, Du Hang said gently. You're lying. I went to the first aid kit, got a bandage and carefully applied it to Du Hang's hand, blowing on it gently. Du Hang laughed. Ningning, you're so thoughtful. Sometimes Daddy feels like you're an adult. I didn't respond. After this incident, I finally realized how naive I'd been. A child simply cannot survive alone. What if Du Hang discovers I'm not a child? Not his daughter? What then? Would he kick me out? Thinking this, I swallowed nervously. Just then, Du Hang patted my head. Ningning, you've been too well behaved and mature lately. Actually, Daddy can handle many things himself. You don't need to push yourself so hard. You don't need to be a genius. As long as you're Ningning, that's enough. At that moment, Du Hang's gaze was so tender, and my heart softened. Fine, since you saved me. From now on, I won't dislike you anymore. I'll be your daughter. Okay, I nodded. For the next few days, I was very well behaved. Du Hang was clearly relieved and decided to take me out for a nice meal. My curiosity about Du Hang's wife reached its peak, and I pestered him. Dad, why do all the other kids have moms, but I don't? Because your dad is a superhero, stronger than all the other dads. You're lying again. Did you and Mom get divorced? Du Hang didn't answer. So it must be a divorce. How pitiful. Feeling sorry for Du Hang. I didn't expect that when we went to the restaurant, a woman was already there. And she was someone I knew. Du Hang Ningning. Zhang Yufei stood up. You're finally here. Zhang Yufei was the school beauty in high school, fair-skinned, beautiful, with long legs and excellent grades. She was very careful about protecting her skin. During pay class, she'd stay in the shade, so we nicknamed her Vampire. After so many years, she was still stunning. She wore a white suit, her skin even fairer than before, elegant and gentle. Why were they having a meal together? Could she be my mom? I felt as if struck by lightning. Then Zhang Yufei spoke. Du Hang, this Sunday, let's take Ningning to the zoo together. Suddenly I wanted to cry. Actually, I'd been mentally prepared. In school, everyone said Du Hang and Zhang Yufei were a perfect match. Both were top students, well-mannered and good-looking, a power couple. Come to think of it, the girl Du Hang helped up back then was Zhang Yufei. They had that magical connection. If I hadn't confessed to Du Hang, they might have ended up together. Back then, girls accused me of stealing Zhang Yufei's boyfriend, and Zhang Yufei gave me dirty looks too. I once asked Du Hang if it was true. Du Hang said, "Do you have something called brain cells in your head? If I liked her, what would you have to do with it?" That made me laugh back then. But years later, the prince and princess still ended up together. No one remembered the Cinderella who once loved the prince. I blinked, suddenly feeling so wronged I wanted to cry. Then Zhang Yufei asked what I wanted to eat. I ignored her, and Du Hang ordered my favorite pizza for me. While I focused on eating, Zhang Yufei occasionally wiped my mouth so gentle. Sigh, so my love rival became my mom. Even if I didn't want to admit it, she was still my mom. Giving her the cold shoulder might hurt her feelings. Seeing Zhang Yufei's expectant gaze, I reluctantly spoke up. "Mom, what time are we going to the zoo tomorrow?" "Ningning, you can talk," Zhang Yufei asked. "Ningning," Du Hang said sharply. Zhang Yufei looked shocked, while Du Hang's face turned pale. Strange, why is Du Hang angry? I know. Du Hang is so petty. After the divorce, he doesn't want me to acknowledge Zhang Yufei, only him as my dad. That won't do. A child needs love from both parents. To show equal treatment, I said to Du Hang, "Dad, I want fried chicken. Then, to Zhang Yufei I said, Mom, I want orange juice. Zhang Yufei's expression turned subtle, and Du Hang finally lost his temper. Don't talk nonsense. Don't call just anyone Mom. I was stunned. Did I misunderstand? If Zhang Yufei isn't Du Hang's wife, then who is? Just how many girlfriends has this guy had? I was so ashamed I couldn't lift my head. Du Hang took a deep breath and said, Sorry, Ningning's going through a rebellious phase. She likes to joke around. It's fine, Zhang Yufei quickly said. I actually think Ningning is quite cute. Du Hang didn't respond. After the meal, Du Hang took me home. I thought Du Hang would scold me for talking nonsense, but he only asked, Ningning, today you called Auntie Zhang Mom. She's not my mom. Then who is my mom? I was burning with curiosity. Du Hang didn't answer. Instead, he asked, Do you really want to go to the zoo? I nodded. Then let's go, Du Hang said, as if making a decision. The next day, Du Hang dressed me in a pretty little dress. When we arrived at the zoo, Zhang Yufei was already waiting. She walked with us, explaining the names and habits of the animals, even telling stories. As much as I disliked Zhang Yufei, I had to admit she seemed to glow in certain moments. While I was watching the monkeys, Du Hang went to buy water, and Zhang Yufei stayed with me. She suddenly said casually, Ningning, you called me Mom yesterday. It made me very happy. How about I become your mom? No, I said without hesitation. If I become your mom, I'll take you to the zoo every day. I have kindergarten. I'm very busy. I can't go out to play every day. I looked at Zhang Yufei as if she were an idiot, thinking she was dumber than a child. She frowned, her expression suddenly turning cold. You're just as annoying as your mom. You were troublesome enough when you were mute, but now you're even worse. Zhang Yufei looked terrifying. I instinctively stepped back. She immediately smiled again. Ningning, let's go find Daddy. I don't want to. When Zhang Yufei tried to grab me, I instinctively scratched her. Zhang Yufei's eyes instantly filled with tears. Du Hang returned just in time to see this. He rushed over and said sternly, Ningning, why did you hit someone again? She bullied me. It's fine. Children can be mischievous, Zhang Yufei said with a faint smile. I'm okay. Zhang Yufei, you White Lotus. She was like this in school too. Back then, she tripped during a run but claimed I pushed her, getting me scolded by the teacher. That jerk. I was so angry I wanted to fight her, but Du Hang grabbed the back of my collar. Du Hang asked with a headache, Ningning, you used to be so well behaved. What's going on lately? It's like you're a different person. Is this what the rebellious phase is like? Du Hang looked at me suspiciously. I felt cold sweat trickling down my back. Du Hang has always been smart. Would he figure out I'm an adult, not his daughter? And worse, I'm his most troublesome ex-girlfriend. Thinking this, I burst into tears. I hate Auntie Zhang. She secretly insulted me behind your back. Ningning, don't lie, Zhang Yufei said quickly. I'm not lying. She's a two-faced monster. She said I'm as annoying as my mom. I had only meant to fake cry, but I ended up genuinely upset. I thought Du Hang would tell me to shut up, but he said, I understand. Ningning, I'm sorry Daddy misunderstood you. Zhang Yufei, let's not see each other again. Du Hang, you believe a child over me? Zhang Yufei was furious. My Ningning doesn't lie. Du Hang hugged me. His body was so warm, smelling of the pleasant orange-scented shampoo. I sniffled and started crying again. Wah! Du Hang kept his word. After saying he wouldn't see Zhang Yufei again, he immediately blocked her and refused to meet her, even when she came to apologize at his doorstep. I admit, that gave me quite a sense of satisfaction. After this incident, I began to think Du Hang could be quite loyal sometimes. He kept his promises, respected my feelings, and was really good at cooking. My favorite dish was Du Hang's sweet and sour pork ribs. Whenever he made them, I could finish a whole bowl of rice and forget all my earlier unhappiness. One day, while I was enthusiastically eating the ribs, Du Hang suddenly looked at me and said, She loved these the most too. Du Hang's expression was so nostalgic. I blinked. Did Mommy love them the most? Yes, you're so much like her. Du Hang patted my head. his expression filled with longing. Suddenly, I felt a pang of frustration. It had been 2 weeks since I arrived in this world, and I still didn't know who my mum was. No matter how many times I asked Du Hang, he wouldn't tell. Wait, why focus only on Du Hang? I could ask someone else. Du Hang soon gave me that opportunity. On Saturday, Du Hang had originally planned to take me to a movie, but after a phone call, he apologized and said a client had suddenly arrived at the company, so we couldn't go. Du Hang didn't feel comfortable leaving me home alone, so he took me to his office while he met with the client in the conference room. Wow, his office was really impressive. How did my ex-boyfriend get so rich? I sat in Du Hang's chair, happily playing with his pen, while the pretty secretary brought me orange juice. As she was about to leave, I had an idea. Sister, let me ask you a question. Sure, go ahead. Who is my mom? The secretary looked troubled. I've never met your mom, and I don't know her name. I've only heard she was a very beautiful and gentle woman. She left me, and I'm so sad, I probed. That was an accident, the secretary said, patting my head, her eyes full of sympathy. An accident? I couldn't believe it. My mom and dad didn't get divorced. Of course not. She and Mr. Du were very much in love. After Du Hang saw the client off, he came to the office to take me home. My mind was racing with what the secretary had said. If Du Hang hadn't gotten divorced, why did he look so sad whenever he mentioned his wife? Could it be Mum died? Oh, my God. My gaze toward Du Hang instantly filled with sympathy. To be honest, I had considered the possibility that Du Hang might fall for someone else, or marry someone new after all. We were from different worlds, so how could we have ended up together? But I truly never imagined Du Hang's wife might have died. Du Hang must have been heartbroken all these years, raising an autistic daughter alone. How did he endure it? Thinking about it made me incredibly sad. Du Hang noticed my low spirits and patted my head. Ningning, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? No, I shook my head. What would you like to eat? Daddy will take you. I looked into Du Hang's eyes and said, I want spicy chicken and mapo tofu. Du Hang laughed. Are you sure? Yes. Du Hang really took me to a Sichuan restaurant. I ordered spicy chicken, mapo tofu, and even spicy crayfish, all of Du Hang's favorites. I'm such a good daughter, so filial. Feeling moved by my own thoughtfulness, I picked up a piece of spicy chicken. I forgot I was now a child and immediately turned red from the spice. As I desperately searched for water, Du Hang handed me a bottle of yogurt. I gulped down the yogurt and kept sticking out my tongue, panting. Du Hang smiled as he watched me. Ningning, children shouldn't eat spicy food. You knew and didn't warn me. Looking at Du Hang, I could tell he had done it on purpose. I was so angry my cheeks puffed up like steamed buns. Du Hang ordered me a delicious pudding and asked, Ningning, why did you want to eat spicy chicken? Did someone say it was tasty and you wanted to try it? No, because you like it. I blurted it out without thinking and quickly covered my mouth. Oh no, why did I say what I was thinking? I was so worried Du Hang might notice something, but luckily he just looked touched. Ningning, Daddy never told you that, yet you still knew what I like. You're such a good daughter. Did the secretary's sister tell you? I nodded hastily. Thank you, Ningning, but Daddy would rather eat what you like with you. Du Hang ordered me pudding and desserts, smiling as he watched me eat, looking like a satisfied old father. Du Hang's gentleness made me feel even more guilty. When we got home, I took the initiative to mop the floor, wash clothes, and even stood on tiptoe to wipe the table, which startled Du Hang. Ningning, what's going on with you? I just want to do more for you. I looked at Du Hang, unsure how to respond. Then Du Hang took the laundry basin from my hands and placed it on the floor. Du Hang crouched down. Ningning, Daddy knows you really want to help, and Daddy is very touched. But you're still young. You don't need to do these things yet. When you grow up, you can help then, okay? Why are you so good to me? I asked instinctively. Because you're my most precious treasure. Forever. Forever. Let's pinky swear. Looking at Du Hang's outstretched hand, I hesitated but linked my pinky with his. Du Hang smiled, a very gentle smile, and I couldn't help but smile too. I thought Du Hang was truly the best dad in the world, even if he was also the worst ex-boyfriend in the world. Fine, I'll forgive him. I felt my hatred toward Du Hang gradually fading as we spent more time together. The next day, when I went to kindergarten, I took the initiative to say goodbye to Du Hang. Du Hang was so happy he kissed my forehead, and the teacher also praised me extravagantly. She said I was becoming more and more sensible and even complimented my hairstyle. I realized kindergarten life was actually quite fun. Here, there was no academic pressure, and no one would scold me even if I lay down in the classroom. The only regret was that the teacher wouldn't let us play outside, probably afraid we'd cause trouble on the playground. The other kids accepted it, but I didn't. I gathered everyone to petition the teacher and managed to secure some time on the slides. Everyone was thrilled. When Du Hang came to pick me up, the teacher smiled and said, "Mr. Du, has Ningning been watching TV dramas lately?" Du Hang immediately knew I'd caused trouble again. After a moment's thought, he said, "She's been watching Elite Attorney lately." No wonder. Today she organized the kids to sign a petition demanding more outdoor playtime. Probably a plot from the drama, right? As the teacher spoke, she patted my head. I glared at her traitor. Why tell Du Hang everything? Du Hang looked at me speechlessly and sighed softly. Before he could lecture me, the teacher quickly added, "Ningning is a clever child. With proper guidance, she'll go far." "Thank you for your hard work, teacher," Du Hang said. On the way home, Du Hang remained silent. I knew he was angry, feeling both confused and defiant. Back home, Du Hang poured me a glass of juice and asked seriously, "Ningning, why did you do that today?" "I wanted to play outside," I said matter-of-factly. "Ningning, have you thought about how sad the other children would be if the teacher hadn't agreed?" Du Hang's words made sense, but I didn't want to listen. Suddenly, I remembered something from the past. During our senior year of high school, Hey classes were always taken over by other teachers, and everyone complained. One day, the English teacher, perhaps sensing our resentment, said while taking over Pei class that anyone who wanted Pei could go outside. I immediately stood up. Under everyone's gaze, I walked alone out of the classroom to the playground. Just as I happily started jumping rope, Du Hang came down too. I tried to pull Du Hang into playing badminton, but he said, "Tang Ning, come back with me." "Why?" "The teacher said students who want to play can come down." The teacher was just being polite. "You're making things awkward for him. He hasn't even started the lesson yet." In the end, Du Hang dragged me back to the classroom. I spent that entire English class feeling wronged. I really didn't understand why, in Du Hang's eyes, I was always so immature. Why did he always look down on me and stop me from doing what I wanted? Now he was doing it again. And he was my dad now. Furious, I retorted, "Are you saying I shouldn't fight for my rights?" "Rights? Where did you learn that word?" "I'm saying, if you want to do something, you can tell me. I'll help you. You have to trust Daddy." You just don't trust me," I muttered. "Ningning, I'm sleepy." With that, I went to bed, starting a cold war with Du Hang. However, it was a one-sided cold war because Du Hang didn't even realize I was angry. While he was making breakfast, his phone rang, and the voice on the other end was loud. I heard Du Hang's mom say, "Du Hang, you should think about your personal life. Something's up." I instinctively held my breath. I heard Du Hang remain silent for a moment before saying sternly, "Mom, I don't want to hear this again. It's been 3 years, Du Hang. She's already. You've done more than enough. Your cousin said she has a colleague, 23 years old, very pretty, and doesn't mind that you have a child. I agreed on your behalf. You'll meet her next week." "I won't meet her," Du Hang said firmly. Du Hang's resolve made me both happy and upset. Of course I didn't want a stepmother. But Du Hang's enduring love for his wife also made me jealous to the point of madness. I couldn't help wondering what kind of woman could be so exceptional that Du Hang loved her so deeply. She must be smart, beautiful, and highly educated, unlike me, who only caused trouble. What was the point of my cold war anyway? I felt miserable. Du Hang had no idea I was angry, and simply thought I was in a bad mood. He bought me lots of delicious snacks, but I wasn't interested at all. The next time I went to kindergarten, the teacher announced we'd be having a sports day, where children and parents would participate together. I hadn't told Du-hang about it at all, but somehow he found out anyway. He went to the school with me, standing excitedly on the playground. I thought these games were incredibly childish, but everyone else was so enthusiastic. While I stood there bored, a little girl approached me. "You're Ningning? What do you want?" "My name is Li Ying. I'm the little teacher of class 3. I heard you're impressive, but if you face me, you'll definitely lose." Wow, kids these days are something else. "Don't cry for your mom when you lose," I said defiantly. I had originally planned to just get through the day, but this little girl stirred my competitive spirit. When the starting gun fired, I immediately sprinted forward. I thought I'd definitely be first, but I didn't expect the other kids to be so fast. What are these kids eating to grow up so fast? While I was still in shock, Li Ying had already overtaken me. I tried my best to catch up, but I was still a few steps behind. When the first passed the baton to Du-hang, I was on the verge of tears. I really didn't understand why I couldn't do anything right. Back in school, I wasn't popular with teachers, and my grades were poor. That was one thing. But now, even competing against a bunch of kids, I still couldn't come in first. "Tang Ning, you're so useless." Just as I was feeling more and more wronged, Du-hang suddenly picked me up. "Hold tight," Du-hang whispered in my ear. With one arm holding me and the other clutching the baton, Du-hang ran with all his might. I felt the wind whistling past my ears. The surroundings blurred, and I could only hear vague cheers. Then I saw Li Ying and her dad running ahead of us. "Du-hang, go!" I instinctively shouted. Du-hang surged forward. "Wow, Ningning won! Ningning is amazing! Class 2, first place." The children crowded around us. It took me a moment to realize we had won. I hugged Du-hang tightly and shouted, "Du-hang, we won! You're amazing!" "Yes, we won," Du-hang said, smiling. Li Ying's dad protested to the principal, saying we broke the rules, but the principal said the competition had no such restrictions. They had to leave angrily. I stuck my tongue out at Li Ying, feeling incredibly happy. At that moment, everything about Du-hang seemed perfect. I hugged the prize teddy bear tightly, refusing to let go. I was so thrilled until Du-hang said, "Ningning, call my name again." "What kind of strange preference is this?" "Du-hang," I called again. Then suddenly I broke out in a cold sweat. When I was dating Du-hang, hormonal changes turned me from a tough girl into a docile little rabbit, which made me the butt of many jokes. The most criticized thing was how I called Du-hang's name. Whenever I said it, my tone would linger and rise at the end, as if winding through 3 curves. And now, I have called him the exact same way. Had Du-hang noticed something? Could he really be that sharp? Probably not. I didn't dare meet Du-hang's eyes, feeling the car grow unbearably quiet. Finally, Du-hang sighed softly. "Don't call me that way anymore." "Okay, Dad," I quickly said, trying to sound obedient. I felt like I'd narrowly escaped and vowed never to make such a foolish mistake again. Once home, I deliberately picked at my food and asked childish questions like, "Why is the sky blue?" to prove I was just a kid. Under my persistent antics, Du-hang finally reverted to his usual attitude toward me. Relieved, I went to the kitchen looking for yogurt, but instead found a bottle of Rio cocktail. It was peach-flavored, my favorite. Without thinking, I drank the whole bottle. I burped, feeling my cheeks flush and my head grow dizzy. I went to the study and found Du-hang working on documents. I tugged at his sleeve. "Dad, it's time for bed." "Ningning, Daddy will go to bed with you soon. I want you to sleep with me." "All right." Du-hang had no choice but to lie down beside me. Looking at his long eyelashes, I sighed. "Dad, you're really good looking. All the kids at kindergarten say so." "Really? Thank them." Du-hang chuckled. "Is Mom good looking too? Do I look more like you or her? Your nose and chin are like mine, but your eyes are just like hers." As Du-hang spoke, he gently touched my eyes. It tickled and I giggled. Curiosity got the better of me. "Dad, how many girlfriends did you have before dating Mom?" "Ningning, where did you learn such things?" Du-hang asked, rubbing his temples. "Just tell me." I'll tell you when you grow up. I shook my head in mock disapproval. You're such a person, clearly don't want to tell me, yet you say you'll tell me later. You always keep everything bottled up inside. You think you're a hero, but it's actually super silly, and no one appreciates it. Why do you put all the pressure on yourself? Aren't you tired? Du Hang looked stunned. Ningning, where did you learn all that? I suddenly realized I'd said too much and giggled. From TV, of course. I don't remember you watching shows like that. The teacher showed it at kindergarten. All right. Du Hang still eyed me suspiciously. Are you? Du Hang suddenly leaned closer. My heart pounded wildly. For some reason, I felt Du Hang had seen through my identity. Yes, I'd slipped up too many times today. He's so smart. He must suspect something. What should I do? Should I confess? Just as I couldn't bear it anymore, and was about to reveal who I really was, Du Hang continued. Been drinking? Me? I remembered the Rio and said guiltily, No way. How could a kid drink? You smell like alcohol, Du Hang called me out. I just had peach juice earlier. It was sweet and delicious. I pretended to be innocent, evading Du Hang's accusation while feeling dizzier by the second. Even though I knew I shouldn't say it, the words slipped out uncontrollably. Du Hang, I'm sleepy. I want to sleep. Why did you break up with me? Ningning. I saw Du Hang's face loom closer before everything went dark. The next day I woke up grudgingly with a terrible headache. Du Hang. Dad. My voice was hoarse as I called for Du Hang, but he didn't come to me as usual. I went to the bathroom to wash my face, regretting having drunk so much. Who knew a child's body would be so sensitive to alcohol? Thankfully, I didn't make a scene, or it would have been so embarrassing. When I went to the dining room, I found Du Hang sitting at the table. I sniffed. Dad, what delicious thing did you make? Knife fish wontons. Wow, I love those, I said happily. Du Hang served me a bowl. The wontons were plump and adorable, floating in a broth with green scallions and cilantro, utterly tempting. I took a sip of the soup and bit into a wonton. It was so fresh and tender it felt like my taste buds were dancing. I finished the wontons in one go and noticed Du Hang staring at me strangely. Unsure what was wrong, I tentatively asked, Dad, aren't you eating? Du Hang kept looking at me. Should I feed you? I continued, feeling like the most filial daughter in the world. Finally, Du Hang reacted. He sighed softly. Ningning, you've always hated cilantro. Every time we eat, you pick it out. While a person's personality might change, preferences don't shift so easily. You. Who are you really? I felt a chill run through my body. I'd always known Du Hang was clever, but when he actually exposed my disguise, my mind went blank. I opened my mouth to explain, but no words came out. I've really messed up, I thought. Du Hang had been so good to me that I'd forgotten to be careful and hide my identity. With so many slip-ups, of course he'd noticed something was off. Now he'd discovered I wasn't his daughter. Would he kick me out? If he found out I was his most troublesome ex-girlfriend, he'd be so disappointed. Du Hang, I'm sorry. Just as I steeled myself to say my name, Du Hang continued seriously. Are you Ningning's second personality? Huh? I didn't understand what Du Hang meant and stared at him blankly. Just then, the TV started playing Rainbow Fairy, a show I usually watched. The fairy ran crying into a flower garden and said to her chasing boyfriend, I'm breaking up with you. Why break up? The boyfriend asked, shocked. I'm a fairy, and you're a mortal. We can't be together. The cartoon was so corny it made me cringe, but it saved me. Du Hang rubbed his forehead, looking utterly defeated. So the breakup talk, you learned it from the cartoon. Sigh. What was I thinking? How could something from TV happen to you? Du Hang patted my head, finally seeming to dismiss his suspicions. I breathed a sigh of relief. After Du Hang dropped me off at kindergarten, I sat silently in my chair, deep in thought. I realized that recent smooth sailing had made me overconfident. I thought being an adult made playing a child easy, but I'd almost doomed myself. And I'd taken over Ningning's body. Where was the real Ningning? Was she still alive? Did my arrival make her disappear? I finally confronted the question I'd been avoiding, and my heart grew heavy. I never wanted to be a murderer, let alone steal a child's future. As my thoughts spiraled, Du-Hang took me out. He left me with his secretary and headed toward a building. I saw it was a hospital. For some reason, I felt a secret was about to be revealed, one that would turn my world upside down. I decided to investigate. While the secretary went to the restroom, I slipped into the hospital. I followed Du-Hang to a ward but lost my courage at the door. I told myself I'd just take a peek. Just one look. I stood on tiptoe. In the hospital room, Du-Hang sat by the bed. He was speaking softly to someone, his profile incredibly gentle. I tried to see who was lying on the bed, but I couldn't make it out. Just as I grew anxious, someone tapped my head. "Ningning, what are you doing here?" The secretary looked horrified. "Auntie, who's in there?" "That's your mum." I stared at the closed door, feeling my eyes sting. "Mum, is she sick?" "Yes, your mom was in a car accident and has been in a vegetative state for 3 years. Such a tragedy." "So it wasn't a divorce, but a coma," I thought, stunned. I felt ashamed for my earlier jealousy and asked softly, "Will Mom wake up?" "Of course," the secretary said. While we were talking, Du-Hang noticed me. He didn't scold me, only said, "Ningning, don't do something so dangerous again." "Will Mom wake up?" I asked the same question. "She definitely will." Du-Hang's gaze was so firm a child might believe him, but I knew better. If my mom had been in a coma for so long, she would have woken up by now if she could. Why wait until now? If she never wakes up, how heartbroken would Du-Hang be? Wah! I burst into tears. Du-Hang hugged me, his own eyes reddening. He said, "Mom misses you so much. Ningning, why don't you go talk to her?" Suddenly I felt scared. "Let's go home." Du-Hang didn't force me and took me back. He was quiet all evening. During dinner, I couldn't help asking, "Was Mom very beautiful?" "Well..." Du-Hang chuckled without giving a direct answer, and I suddenly understood. Mom must not have been pretty. So, Du-Hang likes average-looking women. No wonder he didn't like me. Despite my messy personality, I had many admirers because I was exceptionally beautiful, fair skin, big eyes, and slender legs. How beautiful was I? So beautiful that even guys I beat up would write me love letters. They'd whistle when they saw me, which annoyed me endlessly. I thought they were shallow, only liking my face. But Du-Hang was different. No matter how much I tried to get his attention, he remained indifferent. The more aloof he was, the more determined I became. I loved his cool demeanor and wanted to see him helplessly in love with me. But even our breakup didn't fulfill that wish. Maybe I'd been wrong from the start. Turns out, Du-Hang likes plain women. Mum's been in a coma for 3 years. Don't you get lonely? With Ningning here, how could I be lonely? Du-Hang said softly. You really love Ningning, huh? Ningning is my favorite little girl. Looking at Du-Hang's gentle eyes, I suddenly wanted to cry. I'm sorry, I took over your daughter's body. I'm not your daughter. I don't deserve your love. I'm truly, truly sorry. I decided to return Ningning's body. Making this decision wasn't easy. After all, who would choose to die again when given a second chance at life? But Du-Hang had already lost his wife. I couldn't let him lose his daughter too. Du-Hang, I'm sorry. I've disturbed you for so long. It's time for me to leave. But how could I return? While Du-Hang was showering, I secretly went online and searched for what to do if you've taken over someone else's body. It sounded silly, but a few people actually replied. One post said that if 2 consciousnesses share one body and one fades away, the other would naturally return. Fade away meant death, not complete death, but the death of consciousness. I came here through a car accident. If I got hit by a car again, but not fatally, Ningning would surely return. And I would fade away completely. Then, I'd never see Du-Hang again. I decided to leave on Wednesday, Du-Hang's birthday. My departure would be the best gift for him. The thought of leaving Du-Hang broke my heart. I forced myself not to be afraid, telling myself I was doing something necessary and noble. At kindergarten, I apologized to the teacher and made up with the chubby boy, becoming good friends. At home, I was obedient and helpful, doing chores and even feeding the stray cats in the neighborhood. Goodbye, everyone. I thought silently, overwhelmed with sadness. On Du-hang's birthday, I woke up early. He wanted to take me for pizza, but I refused. For the last time, I asked Du-hang to bake a cake himself. He smiled. All right. I hadn't expected Du-hang to actually know how to bake. After preparing the cake base, he whipped the egg whites skillfully, like a professional chef. You can bake? I didn't know that, I said, surprised. I used to do it long ago. Not sure if I'm still any good. Du-hang was modest, but his hands moved with practiced ease. Watching the egg whites magically turn into cream, I couldn't resist dipping a finger in to taste. The cream was so delicious I squinted with delight. Unfortunately, Du-hang caught me. He glared, and I playfully offered him a scoop of cream, but he refused. Giving me attitude. Thinking this, I secretly smeared cream on Du-hang's face. I was careful, but he still noticed. He grabbed my hand and I giggled, trying to smear more cream on him. Du-hang retaliated by smearing cream on my face. Du-hang was much stronger than me, so I had to surrender. I give up. I give up. Will you behave now? Yes, yes. I kept pleading, and Du-hang looked at me, suddenly saying, You're so much like your mum. She loved teasing me too, but would quickly give in. No backbone, I said, jealous. Don't talk about your mom like that. Fine. I know you love her. You two are the most loving couple in the world, and you have a daughter. You're so happy. Ningning, what's wrong? My eyes hurt a little. It wasn't my eyes, it was my heart. I blessed them, but my heart ached as if it were dying. I could no longer lie to myself. I admitted I still loved Du-hang even though he broke up with me, betrayed me, and had aged so much. I still loved him. But now, it was time to say goodbye. No, it was time to say goodbye forever. Dad, make a wish, I said as I lit the candles. Du-hang closed his eyes and made a wish. When I asked what it was, he refused to say, so stingy. But I could guess he probably wished for his wife to wake up soon. Though jealous, I hoped for that too. Be happy, Du-hang. I want yogurt. Even though I knew we had none at home, I made the request. Du-hang, ever patient, took me downstairs. Along the way, he held my hand tightly, and I clung to his, almost unwilling to let go. Du-hang, I love you. I really, really love you. I love you, I whispered. Ningning. Du-hang looked at me, puzzled. Goodbye. Though I wanted to cry, I smiled brightly. Before Du-hang could react, I dashed into the road, right into the path of an oncoming car. It's all over. I will disappear, and Ningning will return. Du-hang, if there's a next life, I hope to meet you again. My mind was a mess, but the expected pain never came. Instead, I was caught in a broad, warm embrace. I opened my eyes wide and saw Du-hang's smiling face. I love you too, Tang-ning. What? Du-hang's smile froze as the car slammed into him. Watching the blood spill across the ground, I screamed. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself in a hospital. I didn't go back after all. The thought filled me with disappointment. Wait. Du-hang? Is Du-hang okay? Du-hang. I tried to call his name, but my voice came out strangely hoarse. The door to the room swung open, and a nurse looked at me excitedly. You're awake. Yes, I'm awake. Why is she so excited? Does she have a crush on me? Miss Tang, you're finally awake. Miss Tang? With all my strength, I turned my head to look at the name tag on my hospital bed. Tang-ning, that was my name. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through my head, and long-buried memories came flooding back. I remembered everything. The car accident at 18 had only left me with minor injuries, and I recovered after a few days of rest. Du-hang explained that he never intended to break up with me. He was just trying to scare me into studying harder for college. Du-hang felt incredibly guilty and visited me in the hospital every day, never forgetting to bring my homework. To scare him off, I tried to play a trick, but I accidentally kissed him instead. Tang-ning! He looked utterly flustered and embarrassed, but he didn't leave. Instead, he kissed me back, his lips gentle. Du-hang pushed me to study and occasionally used his handsome charm on me. Eventually, we both got into the same university. We studied together, took walks, sometimes argued, and sometimes shared passionate kisses under the trees. At university, many girls liked him, but he never paid them any attention. The year we graduated, he proposed to me. I wasn't too keen on marriage, but he rolled his eyes and said, "Don't you want to take responsibility for me?" Fine. Du Hang and I got married and soon had Ningning. Du Hang was overjoyed, but I was still a child myself. How could I be a mother? During my pregnancy, I was demanding and moody, craving sour food one moment and spicy the next. Du Hang indulged me unconditionally. Even if I was hungry at 3 a.m., he'd gather his energy and take me out for hot pot. Du Hang joked that my belly held his little hostage, which made me incredibly jealous. I made him promise to love only me forever. He kissed my forehead and said, "Silly, of course I only love you. But from now on, I'll love one more person, our baby." Du Hang broke his promise. When I gave birth to Ningning and lay weak in bed, Du Hang held me tightly. He choked up and said he'd never let me have another child, barely even glancing at our daughter. It was the first time I saw him cry. He looked so beautiful even when crying. I loved Du Hang so much. I loved his mature and steady demeanor, his flustered attempts at changing Ningning's diapers, and the tenderness in his hand when he held mine. I thought we'd be happy forever, but then the accident happened. Back then, Ningning was 2 years old, just starting to babble. As I held her hand to cross the street, a drunk driver hit us. With my last bit of strength, I shielded Ningning, just as Du Hang had shielded me before. Then I fell into a coma, but for some reason I ended up in Ningning's body. Du Hang Ningning? Tears welled up in my eyes. I had to find them. "Miss Tang, you can't move." The nurse was horrified. "Tang Ning." Just as I struggled to get out of bed, Du Hang suddenly pushed the door open. His arm was in a cast, which looked rather comical. With his free arm, he hugged me tightly. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't help laughing. A month later, I was finally discharged from the hospital. During that time, Du Hang visited me every day, and Ningning wasn't idle either. Unlike me, Ningning was a very quiet little girl. She'd look at me timidly and smile sweetly. At first, she was a bit afraid of me, but after I shared some fruit with her, we quickly became close. When I tried to teach her how to climb a tree, Du Hang had had enough and took me home. Back in the familiar house, I remembered how I'd acted out and tormented Du Hang before, feeling a pang of guilt. After Du Hang put Ningning to sleep, he came into the room, and I felt as nervous as an 18-year-old girl again. This was our first time alone together since my return. I thought Du Hang would say something romantic, but instead he asked, "Did you become Ningning before?" I stared at Du Hang in shock. I wanted to deny it, but he snorted. "Your eyes dart around when you lie." "Me? You've been reading too many novels," I said, trying to sound calm. Without another word, Du Hang kissed me fiercely, as if trying to meld me into his body. Lost in passion, he held me tightly and whispered, "You're finally back, Ningning." Was he calling me? Or was he calling Ningning? It didn't matter anymore. All I knew was that I would keep this secret buried deep in my heart forever, and we would live happily ever after, just as I had hoped when I was 18.